Okay, so to continue, I've got the bottom UV shell selected, and I'm going to change that to UV selection. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to change it yet. I'm going to do a spherical mapping on this. So, I go to my Create UVs, spherical mapping. I didn't mean to go to the option box, so I'll just click Project. Okay, so there's my spherical map of that. Now I want to rotate this so that the sphere is pointing at the bottom of my pumpkin. So I need to rotate this -90, I think. This is a trial and error. So I was wrong. We need to go to a +90. Okay. And now we need to pull the edges of this out, this UV map out, and up. And there's the rest of her pumpkin. So now that's not really quite like I like it. I need to rotate it now. And there's a little red T I need to click on. It's hard to see now. Trying to figure out where it's at. Yeah, right here. So if I click that, it switches to my transform tool. And then I need to click on that light blue circle, and I need to rotate it. It looks like in Z. So what I'm trying to accomplish here is I'm just trying to get a good UV map, basically. You know, something that I can comprehend and I can paint on later on and make it so that there's not any seams showing on my mesh. Okay. So that's probably good for that for now. I might decide to go ahead and just do a planar map. Let's see what a planar map does actually. Don't want to delete it though. We undo that spherical mapping. With that same selection, I'm going to go to UV texture editor, planar mapping. Change my Y to 0, X to 90. Okay, so I'm liking this look better in my UV texture editor here. I need to scale it down. And what I'm really worried about is just the UV texture border edges. Okay, and I want these to match up with my other pumpkins. This is going to work out pretty nice actually. Okay, now those pretty much match up. Maybe I'll be really picky and we'll get it to match up perfectly. So I do my UV projection center. I'm going to adjust the X value. And I'm just trying to get the border edges. That's the thick lines. I want those to overlap the other lines. Okay. And in reality, I could do this, you know, in a rigger sort of way. Maybe I'll go ahead and show you that. So if I select my entire pumpkin and I go to Window, Hypergraph Connections Editor, there's going to be a couple of projections here. Okay, so I got polyplanar projection 1 and polyplanar projection 2. So if I hold down Shift and middle mouse click and drag from one node to the other, and I'm doing projection 1 to projection 2, then I can connect these attributes up. And that means they're going to share the exact same space. Okay? And I can do the same thing for scale. Now they're exactly the same. Okay? Now that was pretty nice. I'm going to select this UV set. I'm going to change my selection to UVs. So I'm going to right click UV. Select some of those. Here's another way I used to do it. If you control right click, you can go to shell border. Okay. And now I've got the shell border. And now I need to hold down Shift and invert that selection. So that's going to select every UV except for the stem. Well, I don't want these top ones here. So I need to figure out how to isolate them. So it may be easier to do from my viewport. So if I hold down Shift and Control, I can add to my selection. Okay. Now the whole reason I wanted to do this, let's just do it this way, just so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to control right click to shell. It's going to select all the UVs in that shell, switch to my translate tool and move it off to the side here. Okay, and then I want to control right click and go to shell border. Now I need to invert that selection. Takes it a second. And now I want to use the, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Oh, brother. Been too long, guys. Smudge, where's... Well, I clicked unfold, but I didn't necessarily want to do that. Okay. I don't know if they renamed it or if I'm really having a brain fart. Anyway, I want to relax these UVs. Yeah, they don't have it anymore. Okay. Well, we'll go to unfold. And what that did, I can't even control it. Okay. Well, what that did is it brought all the UVs inside this outline. Okay, so now all the UVs exist in my UV space, but it also rearranged them. I don't really want that. So let me undo and figure this out. But basically, I need all these UVs to be inside my UV border, a UV shell border. Okay, and then I can move it back in and lay it over the top of this other shell here. And then I can move my stem up in the top corner. In fact, I could go ahead and do that now. I'm just going to move it up here in its own area. Okay, and I do want to relax this. You know, I'm going to have to do a little research, not in the tutorial, to figure out what they've changed.